Make a decision, turning toward or away from my God.
I just got out of quarantine. I'm in a level 4 prison, one of the biggest walled prisons in the country. At that time, there were always stabbings. A level 4 prison is just under maximum security. You only go there if you have over a 20-year sentence. The people there know it's basically over with. There's no hope. A lot of years. You never know when you're going to get out. So you really don't care about your behavior. Stabbings, fights, stealings. They're not going to see the parole board for 20 years. I'm not one of the biggest people in the world, so it's even a little more intimidating. Across the gallery, there was a guy I knew from the county jail. He had a similar background to mine, foul language, just everything. He hollered, "Let's go out to the yard." So I went out there, and the change in him was so obvious. Just his voice, you could tell something was different. I didn't know what it was. I didn't come from a church background. He started to witness to me about Jesus Christ. I could see that Jesus could dramatically change his life like that because I had known him before. I could just see it. It was clear. That's when I said, well, maybe there is hope for me. Maybe I can be forgiven. Even in the darkest place on this earth.
Even in the darkest place.
That's when hope began to spring up in my heart.
You know, I never lost hope completely. I always had hope. I started realizing that God was showing me there was a lot to hope for after I'd been caught. My whole life had been lying and deception, dishonesty, living two different lives. What I presented to people around me and how I really thought and acted. After I was caught, everything was out. And I decided I was going to be done with dishonesty. I was going to be a transparent person from then on. I decided to start sharing my crime, what I had done, with different friends and family. I was such a distrustful person for most of my life. Each time I went to share with a person, I thought, well, this is going to be the last time I have this friend for a person, this friend anymore. Without fail, though, every single person I told showed me love and forgiveness, concern, wanted to pray for me, wanted to be there for me. Without fail, it was like 30 or 40 people I told. That was the beginning of my starting to realize how much love God has for me and how he uses his family to show that love.
I had to make a decision, turning toward or against my God. My sister got in contact with me, and that was such a blessing to me, and her husband also, all through the 9.5 years I was in prison. She encouraged me all through that time. She wrote letters too, one letter each week, never missed a week. That gave me a lot of hope through the tough times. Recently, I received a phone call from my son. For 10 years, I didn't hear nothing from him. He put me down, and that was the end of it. He had no contact with me at all. Finally, he got a hold of me. We had a nice conversation. We've talked a couple times now since I've been out. It's been a blessing to me. We're restoring our relationship. It just takes time. He lives in California right now, so we can't meet in person, but we talk on the phone. Being aware of my past, I appreciate what I have more so. I'm thankful for all the blessings I receive each and every day. I'll never turn my back on my old life. It's a blessing just to be able to go out the door.
Recognize your freedom, whereas before when we lived our lives as criminals, we couldn't see. But once that's all taken away from you, you see what you're missing. A lot of things that we have on the outside in our normal, everyday lives, in prison, all that is removed. You have a cell, a cement block, Some people call that prison cell a house. I say that's not a house, that's a cell.
You learn to appreciate more.
Sitting on a couch. Sitting on a couch. Do I need to say more?
Seeing the stars.
Being able to look up at the stars without squinting through the floodlights on the yard.
You hunger for freedom.
When I was released, I was standing there at the front gate, and the secretary was like, "You can go now."
You was glad to hear that door slam then.
Yeah, it slammed behind me.
When I first got out, meeting people was a struggle. You don't even want to deal with it. Within 5 minutes of a conversation, it's determined where you're from. You can't get around your years in prison. And some people, even in the church, have that stigma, that fear associated with it. But just having a body of believers walk you into their halls, their fellowship, they're forgetting your past and accepting you for the change Christ has made in your life, I'll always appreciate that.
Yeah. It's hard getting used to saying, "Hey, I just got out of prison." People just want to start a friendly conversation, small talk. They want to get to know you, get to welcome you. "Hey, Will, where you from?" Let's get it out of the way. "I'm Will. I just got out. How's it going?" That may be easier than beating around the bush.
5 minutes into a conversation, it's going to come up. But the Lord revealed to me, never be ashamed of what He has brought me through. This is His story. What He has done in my life, what that can do to help someone else. That's why we have trials and tribulations, to help others when they go through them. I'm Jimmy. I was convicted of second-degree murder. I did 21 years.
I'm Cliff. I was convicted of CSC. I did 9.5 years.
I'm Jonathan. I was convicted of CSC. I did 3 years.
I'm Will. I was convicted of bank robbery. I did 14 years. When I got out of prison, I saw my kids. They're happy. I spend time with them. I go by the house. I met their mom's new husband. We get along good. I actually helped them move in some furniture. My girls were little babies when I left. They're teenagers now. They still don't know me, but they're getting to know me. I've been to the darkest place, and I have found light.
Hope.
And
And
freedom.
This is His story.
And
And
ours.
ours.